Thom Hartmann here on the news. You need to know this. On Tuesday, Senator Ted Cruz took the floor of the Senate to launch an all-night phony filibuster. His 21-hour self-promotional charade was arranged in advance, and there was no way it would stop the Senate from voting on a continuing resolution to fund the government. Senator Cruz stayed on the floor all night, apparently without so much as a bathroom break, just to keep himself in the public eye and to fundraise for the Republican Party. Even if Senator Cruz had the support of 60 of his fellow senators, President Obama would veto the legislation, and it would have no effect on the Medicaid expansion or federal subsidies that will soon help people buy insurance. And the Texas Republican only has a few allies who support his political ploy. Only a few of his Republican colleagues took to the Senate floor to ask a question, which is a procedural tactic that gives Senator Cruz a short, possibly bathroom break from speaking. Most of his party refused to take part in the political theater, and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell said he would vote to cut off debate. Even Tea Party darling Senator Rand Paul reminded Senator Cruz that Republicans don't control all the government. Waging a 21-hour speech, regardless of the potential outcome, can be a great way to bring attention to an important issue. But many Americans believe that this all-night political stunt was really about nothing more than bringing attention to Senator Ted Cruz. In Screwed News, in Wisconsin, you can feel free to walk down the street carrying your loaded AR-15 rifle. But if you dare to carry a chicken, be prepared to pay a fine. To prove this point, Mark Scheffler attended a gun protest on Saturday where he was asked to leave for carrying his brown hen named Winchester. He said, "Carrying a loaded assault weapon in downtown Appleton, the fine is $0. The fine for carrying a loaded chicken, and she is loaded, is $263.50. Mark wasn't upset by the fact that he couldn't carry around his chicken. He was protesting the fact that people are allowed to carry dangerous weapons inside city limits. Several demonstrators joined Mr. Scheffler wearing T-shirts that featured pictures of a chicken and an AR-15 rifle. Together, the group handed out leaflets asking people to call their state lawmakers and demand that the law be changed. They said they have no issue with carrying guns in rural areas, but they want cities to have the right to tell people to keep their weapons of war outside the city limits. In the best of the rest of the news, not only will the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, provide health care to millions of Americans, but it may also save our democratic process. Starting October 1st, Americans will be able to register to vote when they sign up for Obamacare. Although some reports questioned whether President Obama would back down from the voter registration provision, a senior administration official called those reports inaccurate. Perhaps this is the real reason the Republicans don't want the health care law to go into effect. Red state lawmakers have been waging an all-out assault on voting rights around our nation because they know that their chances of winning go up when more people are blocked from the polls. When people can sign up to vote easily under the Affordable Care Act, more Americans may actually start showing up to cast their ballots. Despite all of the Republicans' efforts to block the Affordable Care Act, millions of Americans will soon be able to sign up for low-cost health insurance. And thanks to the law, millions of Americans will also be registering to vote. On Wednesday, federal cleaning and concession workers are demanding a living wage. They plan to walk off their jobs and march to the White House, calling on President Obama to increase labor standards for federal workers. It's their first walkout since May 21st, and the union-backed group Good Jobs Nation is organizing the event. The group hopes to highlight the fact that our government is actually the largest low-wage employer in our nation, with even more workers than Walmart through all of the outsourcing into federal buildings. And the federal workers in Washington, D.C. say low wages are not the only problem. They say that many of the employers in D.C.'s federal buildings also short workers' hours and pay them less than they are owed under federal law. While those allegations have prompted an investigation by the Department of Labor, the workers say they have the sense that the government is unlikely to help. So low-wage federal workers are taking a stand and demanding fair wages and respect in the workplace, and they're bringing their fight straight to our president. And finally, a piglet's fall from a moving truck in Canada may have been the best thing that could ever happen to him. That truck was on its way to the slaughterhouse when the piglet slipped through a gap and tumbled off to the side of the road. Witnesses called local police, who called animal control to come out and pick up Piglet, and they dropped him off at the Wishing Well Animal Shelter in Toronto. When he arrived, the shelter's owner, Brenda, treated him for a few minor scrapes and bruises and got him settled in for his comfortable new life at the no-kill shelter. Brenda has since named the little guy Yoda and even found him a little sweater to keep him warm during the colder months. And it appears little Yoda is settling right in. Brenda said, "He just loves to crawl onto people's laps and be held. He's a little angel." Not only did Yoda's fall from the truck prevent him from becoming bacon, but it brought a wonderful new four-legged family member to the Wishing Well shelter. And that's the way it is today, Wednesday, September 25th, 2013. I'm Thom Hartmann on the news.